Yes. Okay. Take two. All right. Courtney Epps here, and the Sam Castor from Manna Relief, one of my favorite humans on the face of the planet. I want to tell you a little bit about Sam, kind of how we crossed paths. Sam is the founder of Manna Relief, and we started providing whole food, plant-based nutrition to children in need through his program on April 16th of 2018. And, Sam and I share the same mission, and I'm going to let him take it away. So Sam, for the second time, because I thought we were live. And so I'm like, he was just going and talking, and we were not. So Sam, I want you to introduce yourself and tell us about the mission of Manna Relief.
Okay, thank you very much, Courtney. And I am Sam Castor, and I did found Manna Relief in 1999. It came as a result of a business that I was in, and I had connected with a pharmaceutical company in Dallas that had discovered the biologically active molecule in the aloe vera plant that caused the unprecedented immune response that aloe had earned the reputation for doing for centuries. But it's a labile molecule, which means if you don't stabilize it, it's gone in 24 hours. So this company had made the discovery. They had filed and received about 130 patents around the world. It's just truly one of the most remarkable molecules in nature because of what it does for upregulating the immune system. In 1997, I was in Romania. My wife and I were in the process of adopting children. I went to a large organization over there of orphanages, and during our conversation, they explained how challenging the health was of their children. They said, our kids are sick all the time. We're losing 30 to 40 kids a year. And I said, really? Well, what is when our kids are undernourished, malnourished, they suffer from a condition called immune deficiency. And when their immune systems crash, they become susceptible to every kind of chronic and infectious disease. And I said, well, I think I have something that can help you. It's nature's most powerful immune modulating molecule. And so I sent them a donation enough for a year. And it comes in a powder form. All they had to do is blend it in their food. I did blend it with some whole food, vitamin and mineral composition. But the main mechanism of action was the immune activation. The end of the year came, we reconnected, and they said, it's amazing what's happened with our children. They're healthier than we've ever seen them. And for the first time in over a decade, not one child died in our organization. And that became the opportunity of a lifetime for my wife and I. Our heart was for fatherless children anyway, and we owned a technology that we knew could change their lives. In fact, about 6 million children a year, Courtney, die of immune deficiency related issues. So we started Manna Relief in 1999 as a result of that experience. And for the last 20 years, we have distributed about a little over 130 million daily servings of this advanced immune support to children in over 90 countries of the world. And what we're trying to do is change the paradigm in the charity industry from fundraising to social business partners. And so, for instance, I have started businesses, and I use the business to actually fund the activity of Manna Relief. And I have just started encouraging other entrepreneurs to consider doing the same thing. And you stepped up to the plate. And you said, I'm an accountant. How does that work? And we kind of talked about that. But you've been an incredible blessing through your own work. And what's amazing, Courtney, is anybody can be a social entrepreneur.
Yes.
You just dedicate a level of your top line earnings to a social cause that you feel passionate about, and you can go about starting to change the world. And you guys have already done over 1 million.
Yeah. 1.8 now. It's 1.8.
Oh, almost 2. Yeah. Can you, an accountant? Now, how does that work?
Well, and that's the thing. What's so exciting is that, some people, and the different types of people, they focus on certain things. And one of the things that I knew a long time ago is money in no way drives me. But when
Right.
we started adding the fact that we were feeding children into what we were doing, it changed everything. So it was like, oh, I can't go home. Like, I need to do this one more tax strategy session, or I need to do this one more tax return because children are dying. And that's really the thought process in my head. And, you know, Sam gave me an amazing passion for these children. And, you know, we were lucky enough to be able to go to Mexico, meet
Yeah.
President Vicente Fox, and see some of the children we were feeding. And now, tell them about the program that we have here in the United States that we're mostly funding. And then I'll talk about a little bit about Operation Underground Railroad, how we're connecting. So I'm super excited about that as well.
Sure. Well, of course, we distribute product to orphanages all over the world. And you mentioned President Fox. They're our distribution partners for Manna Relief for the last decade in Mexico. They help us reach the most vulnerable children down there. But in the United States, we have a program for medically fragile children. These are kids that have not responded well to any kind of medical therapy because of the uniqueness sometimes of their condition, or they just have a condition that doesn't respond well to medical therapy. And the amazing thing is the human body has the capacity to heal itself beyond anything that exists in science today, if you can find the right mechanism of support to trigger, you know, those natural functions of defense and repair. And so you're funding that program. And we have kids that come in all the time. These are kids with inoperable brain tumors. These are kids with gene-mediated disorders like cystic fibrosis. These are kids with sometimes birth defects. These are kids that have been in accidents and maybe have brain trauma. It really doesn't matter what the issue is. We have a huge impact on their quality of life. Not every one of them live. Not every one of them, you know, recover because sometimes we get them at the very end. But what we do with every single child is what time they have left on earth, we improve their quality of life dramatically. And mixed in with all that, we see the miracles, you know, kids that actually do recover from things that nobody had any idea was possible. So you're a main funder into that program, and that's exciting.
Yes. And so something super exciting. You know, I started also, you can never outgive God, you know. So, you know, we just decided to start giving, and I fell in love with it. And I found another nonprofit that I really love and wanted to connect. And I felt led that we were supposed to feed all the children through Operation Underground Railroad. And Operation Underground Railroad they dedicate their life to sex trafficking, to help children get out of sex trafficking. And so Sam and I had a conversation last week, and we are starting first and foremost in Ghana and Uganda, and we're starting to feed these children, but we're not just feeding them. Like, I think, Sam, one of the biggest things that most people don't understand is nonprofits typically provide synthetic products. And so that's not what we're providing to these children. We're literally helping them, malnourished children, get better. And so if you could talk a little bit just about that and understanding.
Fortunately, not-for-profits, typically they're in the food business, have to deal with the cheapest commodity-based food ingredients, rice, beans, things like that. If they are trying to nourish, it's usually the least expensive synthetically made vitamins. And that's what you do if you're in the charity business, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to stretch every penny as far as you can make it go. With us, we just took on the mantra that we're going to provide the best, not the worst, but the best. It does cost more, but through social business, it's irrelevant. You know, we all go to work, we do our work, and we fund the activity of meeting the needs of these children. In the areas of the world where these kids are being rescued from sex trafficking, I'm telling you, these kids are exposed to all kinds of infectious diseases. And to support their body's ability to recovery is part of the recovery process. There's a lot of emotional trauma that has to be overcome, but there's a lot of physical trauma that comes with being in those environments. And so that's the part that we play. We provide the most advanced technology for getting these kids' health back in alignment so they can lead productive lives. And so that's what we do.
I love it. So I'm gonna just ask a couple questions, just things I want people to know, and things that I've been able to learn and understand through, the last, I would say, the last 5 years of knowing Sam. Sam, how did you come across? Most nonprofits are just typically focused on fundraising. How did you come across the social giving aspect, and explain how that works and how other people can be a part of social giving? Did I lose him? I may have lost Sam. Sam is going to come back. I know it. So I'll share a couple things while Sam is gone. Guys, one of the things that has been amazing, and the reason why I want to talk about this is I always link, if everyone knows, I link everything back to tax deductions. And one of the things that I know that's going to happen with this whole situation, with the economy and everything crashing right now, is that nonprofits are going to get hit really hard. And it's one of my focuses is to help nonprofits continue to get funded and help you guys understand how you can actually continue to give and it be 100% tax deductible. And so I think I got Sam back, so I'm gonna add him back into the stream. It's all good. I was carrying on. I was telling them how massive of a tax deduction being able to give from a gross income level from their business is, instead of giving from a net profit. And that becomes a stream of a tax deduction for you guys, so we can help do this social giving. So Sam, take it away on how you figured out social giving, how you are different than most nonprofits. Instead of going out and fundraising, you're actually creating your own income, and how other businesses can do the same thing.
Well, what I did is I started a business that sells the very same product that I'm donating to children, which is advanced immune support. And I do it in capsules, but I also do it in lollipops. So I put this advanced Ace Manning technology into like a sucker. It's called a Hope Pop. And it's a buy one, give one. Every time you take one and it enhance your immune system, we get to do the same thing for a child in need. And I discovered that in 2008 when I had built my donor base up to, which had taken me a decade to do, to feeding about 70,000 children a day. Then the economy took a drop and I lost 60% of my donor base in a month. And, all of a sudden I have to turn off the distribution to about 40,000 children. And I just said, that's it. There's got to be a better way for more sustainable impact. And actually, it was President Fox that introduced me to social business. He hosted the first international symposium on social entrepreneurship. And I went down to that event and learned this entirely new way of doing business, which is the buy one, give one model, or top line giving, so that you can allocate your business not only to serving the needs of your customers, but serving the needs of the world. And it's just like you said, Courtney, it's a completely different feeling when you do a tax return, knowing that not only are you providing your client incredible service, but as a result of that, a child who would never get access to this level of technology is having their life saved as a result of what you're doing. And so that's where I discovered social business. That's why I discovered social business. And it's changed everything in my life. So now I get up every morning. I can't wait to find another way of getting into the marketplace, to leverage the power of the marketplace instead of charitable giving, to create sustainable solutions for problems as big as childhood malnutrition.
I love it. And, one of the things that it's crazy because most business owners don't talk about how much money they make because, one, they don't want their employees to know, and they don't, there's all these things. And we track every day how much money we make, not because we're proud of that. We're proud of how many children are being fed. And that is a different world. It's like, it is so rewarding and exciting to wake up every day and see how many children we fed yesterday. And we track that on a daily basis for our staff. And it's a way to get your staff involved. It's a way to get people on board with your cause and your mission. It's not just about money. Money is great. And, we love freeing up money for people, but giving literally changes everything. And I remember when I first met Sam, I didn't really comprehend the whole concept. I thought it was a true, like a marketing or an advertising ploy. And then, man, I fell in love with it. I went and saw the kids. I got to know Sam and Linda, and luckily I'm fortunate enough for Sam to be one of my clients. So he answers my phone call when I call him. So that's nice. One of the things, Sam, I think everybody is so focused right now on everything that's going on. And I think a lot of people are so fearful. And one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you on here is just because you have been fighting and helping children all over the world with their immune system. And that's the buzz, right? Everybody's talking about immune support, immune system, all these things. And, I get so much hope from you. Like I remember when I was thinking about closing our office and sending our employees home, I text Sam and I was like, Sam, what do you think I should do? And whatever Sam says, I do. So, if you could just explain and elaborate on that just for a few minutes.
That was a long sentence. What am I elaborating? I'm sorry.
Just about, everybody is so focused on the fear of them getting sick and immune support and all that stuff.
Well, first of all, this is incredible timing for our company, because what it's doing is creating an acute awareness in the marketplace for the need for a good functioning immune system. The bottom line is we really live in a sick care environment. People aren't focused on how do I get well. They're focused on how do I pay for my sickness. And it really doesn't matter what your challenge is. If it's a viral infection, if it's cancer, if it's, an injury, the immune system is absolutely necessary to protect you and to enhance your recovery processes. So viral infections, for us, it's nothing new. These kids all over the world, that's all we deal with. Kids that get exposed to viruses and drug-resistant forms of bacterium and the chronic illness. And turning on their immune systems is just miraculous for what they do. For what we do and the benefit that we provide them. I think one thing, Courtney, if I could give any advice to everybody out there, you see it, and you just kind of mentioned it. Everybody wants to be a part of something bigger than themselves. But everybody has to do something to make a living. And so you've got people coming into your office that do clerical type of work, and yet they get connected to a mission that is bigger than anything that they've ever been connected with.
Yes.
And when they know that what they're doing is saving the lives of children just by coming to work, it is just a completely different perspective on why they love being in that environment, because it's so much more to them personally than just a paycheck.
Yes. And our clients too. That's the thing. And we're going to start letting our clients know, how many kids that they're feeding. Typically we're telling them for every $1, they're feeding a serving. But when we get them connected, we're trying to create a ticker now so we can let them know this is how many kids you fed so far. And it's exciting to know that you're doing something that may not be necessarily fun, which is taxes, but that you are also, maybe it makes you feel better when you pay that tax bill, that you're also feeding children. And, and everything in my life is centered around and focused around how many kids we can feed, how many kids we can free up. And, I love freeing up money for people. That's a major focus for me, is freeing up money for people. And that feels good. But man, to know that every time I finish a tax return, let's say it's a thousand children are fed, that's completely different. So, and I have you to thank for that. And for those of you that know me, have heard my story of the mold exposure. And, we ended up moving out of our home 2.5 years ago. And Sam was the one, he told me, he said, Courtney, if you don't move out, like your body can't fight against sickness and disease. And I'm so grateful for you, Sam, because, you know, I don't know where I'd be. I mean, I lost my memory for 6.5 months. And I remember that weekend so instrumentally. Like I went to my room about 7 times to get my coat that weekend, and I couldn't remember my coat by the time I'd made it to the room. So I'm so thankful and grateful for Sam. And, you know, we had him send us, our whole staff, immune support to help us through Manna Relief. And, you know, that made them feel a lot better. And, you know, but I'm just, what we're doing, guys, any other business in the world can do it. And, you know, it may not be feeding children. It may be something else. It may be Operation Underground Railroad. We don't care. The whole goal is we want to help fund nonprofits who are doing good. We would love for you to be a part of Manna Relief and what we're doing over here. But, you know, if you find something you're super passionate about, if it's animals, if it's children, if it's whatever, then, you know, learn how to give from a gross income level so that it becomes 100% tax deductible as a cost of goods sold item for a business. See, most people don't realize that 96% of Americans don't typically get benefit from charitable contributions. So we can teach you how to give differently and then be able to get those tax deductions so that you can then have more money to give even more. And that's my goal and my purpose. So,
well,
Sam,
you are a blessing.
Sam, you are. I don't know what in the world I'd do without Sam Castor in my life. Now, one more question. One of the things that I know that you bring up and we talk about, me and Sam actually wrote chapter 12 of my book, which is so awesome. And I will post the free download of that book. You can get it if you haven't already gotten it. I will post it in the comments. One of the things that I'd love for you to just share is the elements of a social business and how to create a great social business, one that's sustainable.
Well, first of all, you have to figure out what you're passionate about. You just said that. Find a problem that you want to help bring a sustainable solution to. And then find a way to economically drive that through your business. And social business, as opposed to just charitable giving, is a top line commitment instead of a bottom line. Because then everybody you're connected with, whether they're your clients, your customer base, or your employees, know that every time something happens, you know, it generates or triggers a donation to whatever your cause is. The more you can connect that cause directly to what you're doing, the more that you can share with your clients and your customers the impact that you're making, the more they get connected to the cause. But really, it's just find out what you're passionate about changing in the world, dedicate a top line portion of your business to that, and turn the lights off before you stop giving. I mean, that's the commitment that you have to make to it. And then everything, and it's just like Courtney said, you can't outgive God. Things just start flowing as a result of that. The blessings just start overflowing into your life. Hey, listen, I'll just leave you with this, Courtney.
Yes.
Anybody can make a living. Social business allows you to make a life.
I love it.
And that's what we all get to do. We get to live in ways that, you know, a life of significance, which is more than a paycheck.
I love it, Sam. You know, and I'll leave it with this, guys. I remember when we gave Sam the first check and we didn't have the money in our bank account, and I was hoping that he wouldn't cash the check. And it was for about 15,000 servings, and that was April that was the month of April 2018. And you know, it was scary. And the next week, we got a phone call from the IRS. We'd been waiting for 3.5 years to deal with an audit. And 3.5 years later, they sent us a check for $25,000. And I'm like, this is crazy. And then the next month we gave, and we had a family member who decided she just wanted to give us $5,000 out of the blue. And it just kept going, and our business kept exploding and skyrocketing. And now we're up to about 8,000 servings a day. And that's insane, because we were at 15,000 in a month, and now we're at 8,000 a day. And And guys, it's a different feeling. So I love you, Sam. I appreciate time and effort to get on here, especially your first time on StreamYard. And I look forward to letting people know about you in the future. And you can find out information. I have tagged the website that you can access Sam as well. If you want to know more information about it, I will be happy to help you set up your social giving. So I thank you so much.
Thanks, Courtney. Bye,
All
everyone.
right. Bye. Bye, guys.